morning, Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you are so very welcome indeed, my darlings. Okay, so why are we here? Well, we are here because the Real Housewives of Atlanta, a lot of you said, Fumi, we would love for you to review the show, and I said I will. So we're going to go straight to the meat and potatoes because nobody got to see exactly what happened when Kenya Moore went on to the Tamworth Hall show. I actually reviewed that interview earlier on, but now we got the bird's eye view of what happened. Some of you might be saying, Fumi, what are you wearing? I am wearing an old dress. I wore this dress when I first got married to Ula 16 years ago. And we had gotten married, and I think he took me out like 2 or 3 days later, and we went to a lounge bar in California. This was the first wedding, and this dress was by Topshop. I have the label because labels itch me, so I took it off. But this was by Topshop, and you know, here we are. I just saw it and I thought, why not? Why not wear it? I am getting my fitness on and I am living for it. If you're asking me what am I doing, I'm lifting weights. I'm just doing straight up weights, and it is doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm living and loving. And so I had the little confidence to say, let me wear this dress today. What do we think? Do we live? Do we love? Look at the waistline. 56 in 6 days. Premenopausal. But I'm handling it. So, like I said, Kenya Moore, one of the most beautiful girls ever, came on to Tamworth Hall show to explain her side of the story. And like I said, we got to see everything. Brit Edie was out of order. You should never ever talk about any kind of ammunition on your person. If you said that to me, I would get up and I would walk away. I, as you very well know, and fellow mothers all over the world, you always have your offspring in your forefront. Every decision I make is ruled and controlled by my son. 1,000,000,000%. And if anybody came to me and said I have a whip and whatever, you know, YouTube regulations, so I can't exactly say what she said, I would have gotten up. So that's strike one. Brit Edie, you have no right to threaten anybody like that, especially when you kind of sort of don't mean it, because you don't know how the other person will react. That's where it gets very colored in so many different conversations. Well, I only said this. Well, I only did that. And she just went off. You have no right over how she's to react over your craziness. You cannot control how the other person will react in any circumstance. Do not think that whatever you did was not that bad. It was not too much. It was enough to get her attention. It was enough to trigger her. Did you see I put the afro back? So many of you said, Fumi, please pull your hair out. I said, okay. So I don't think that was right. And because of that, you are now kind of completely thrown off when Kenya reacted the way that she reacted. I'm taking it in stages. I'm just dealing with Miss Edie first. You're in a collaborative space. You're the new kid on the block. You should come in humbly. Where we come in Africa, when you come into a place, you sit on the mat before they give you the chair, before you sit with the VIPs. That's how it goes because you're the last in. You don't know anybody out here in these streets. You're grateful for the position that you have. But you're coming out here and you're behaving like a gangster. That's what you're behaving like a gangster. Why? And people are watching you, and people are looking up to you, and you're supposed to be there to be promoting your business, your brand's positivity, and be an example in society. That's what you should be. Isn't that what everybody and anybody wants? Well, that's what I want for myself. We move along. Kenya Moore, you have always been that girl. And when you had your baby girl, I was one of those that was rooting for you. You have the most beautiful hair, and your dream always, mama, was to have this beautiful salon where others could also embrace their hair. Very much like Healthy Hair Studio.
Hi guys, my name is ENITAN, hair coach. I am UK's first ever hair coach and a trichologist. We are a team of trichologists and hair coaches here in W6 London, and we help those who are desperate and have tried and everything else has failed. We look after those who have chronic scalp concerns, flaky itchy scalp that's been going on for many years. We help those that have hair loss that has progressed instead of improved, and we help those that just generally want to have a better understanding of better quality hair, length, volume, and reduce that dryness. Visit us by clicking here.
Healthy Hair Studio for us in the United Kingdom is the first. She's the only trichologist in the United Kingdom, and she has transformed crowns upon crowns upon crowns. I want you to have that same impact. I still want you to have that same impact. I also understand, and that's why I give everything to single moms. Because being a single mom out here in the streets, I feel it when Ula travels. And it's very eerie. I'm always nervous. I always tell Ula to pray. I pray for him when he's on the flight. I tell him it doesn't matter how late it is. Just put in the one word, landed, so that I know you're okay. But you're doing it. And you do it so very well. I want to give you your flowers because I want you to know that this comes from love. And I wish that I even knew that this was your intent. And I would have said, Kenya, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. We'll think of something else. Because Brit will not go free. But I would have said, no. Mama, this is your day. It is like me doing something like that when I launch my bra brand, when I launch my shapewear, something that I've been working for the past 3 years, that I have self-funded, no investors. And I would go there and talk negatively about anything or anyone. I wouldn't do it. I am showing you what I've been married to, what you have loved all this time. My shapewear brand that started from nothing, from a viral video that went over 2 million views in 24 hours, that I have worked for all this time, that I've been testing, that we've gone to Prague, we came back, we went here, there, behind the scenes. I've worked hours tirelessly, and I would do that on my day. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's almost as if your anguish towards her overrode your love and passion and dedication to your brand. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense. And for you to have taken the time to put all of the posters of everything, of someone you said that you felt threatened by, doesn't make sense. You know why? I tell you why. I'm going to digress just for a little bit. Excuse me. I was on the train the other day, maybe a week. I go into town to meet different people, parts of the team members for the brand. I like to sit in the back. I like to sit on my own, because I want to be on my phone to be responding to messages. I do that because I am always rushing. So a gentleman came in, and I could see he was a little bit off, in the sense that you can see when they're kind of unkept. So you can tell that perhaps he's not all there. It was rush hour, so everybody rushed in and all the seats were taken. And so this gentleman came and sat beside me. When it's tight like that, those of you will know when you're in a tube, everybody's shoulders can kind of lock in. So I sit forward so that I don't have to touch anybody. Nobody is touching me. He leaned forward with me and told me that I was in his space. I didn't even understand the statement. But because I knew and I had observed that he wasn't all there, I got right up. Why? Because My son is waiting for me at home because my husband is waiting for me, for all of us to have dinner, because I have a responsibility to my family, and that is always in my forefront. That Fumi, you have to take yourself out of danger. Never ever question it. The flag alone is enough for you to have some common sense to know that you should get up, of which I did. My darling Fumi Nation, I got up and I got up and I came off. Well, it was my next stop. I got off my next stop, of which, as the doors closed, people started screaming that they should open the doors again, because the gentleman stabbed the guy right across on my other side. I stood there and I don't think I remembered that I was breathing, because I knew it could have been me. I bring this story up, Kenya, because at any stage and time that you thought that Miss Edie would actually carry out her threat, you would never put those posters up, because that's poking the tiger. You wouldn't have done it. It's just human nature. A mother will protect her cubs. Animals do it. In the time of danger, you have to be reasonable. Even when it's not a reasonable situation, you have to take your child and yourself out of danger. You put yourself right in the center of it. That was why everything looked bad and everybody walked out. Because it was a sledgehammer killing an ant. Most especially when Andy Cohen had said that Britt had come to you with flowers to apologize.
What happened is that Britt made a comment at the end of last week's episode, like, I have a gun and a whip, or something like that.
I saw that.
And on this week's episode, they all said to Britt, that you can't say that shit. And she was like, yeah, you're right, whatever. She shows up to Kenya's opening of her gorgeous salon, which is beautiful, that Kenya has worked so hard on, that she dedicated to her daughter. And it's this big event, opening it with all these people there. And Britt comes in and brings her flowers and says, I want to apologize to you, and a note. And Kenya totally ignores her, like totally. And Britt's like, okay, I'm just going to leave these here. And Britt leaves. And then Kenya gets up and makes her whole opening about someone came after me and they shouldn't have, and I started looking into who this woman is, and this is who she is, and she starts showing pictures of her.
With like poster board that she printed
out. And this is like
one of the pictures is
revenge
her.
porn type.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the pictures is her, like,
I've heard
and
that.
so the Atlanta Housewives are like, we're out. We don't want any. The place like clears out.
Yeah.
And then there's and Cynthia said, in all my time at the show, this is the lowest I've ever seen anything get. And so that's what, and then there's a slide at the end of the show that says, Bravo, stop filming with Kenya after this.
Well, they say, like, there's all this talk of, after the Me Too movement, it's like, if you show someone a dick pic or a nude pic without them saying, yes, I would like to see that right now, that's like sexual assault.
Yes, Jordan?
Well, I was going to say, the bad part of it and the sad part of it was that, like you said, it was Kenya's opening of her store that she's worked so hard for, and it has been Kenya Moore hair care for years. And it was like a big moment for her.
Why
and
did
like
she do that?
She should have been celebrating herself, but instead she used the time to like do and bring somebody else down. And at the end of the day, it was such a bad look for Kenya.
Yeah, why would
and
she
she
do that?
sabotaged herself and her business.
Yeah.
She was no longer a threat, but you wanted to stand 10 toes deep and carry out this public humiliation, of which shed now a light in your direction that you had a very mean streak. Equal to your beauty was this very mean streak. And it's frightening, because it goes to show the lengths that you would go. Don't ever have yes people around you, because that's dangerous. Because you were on the behest of, don't come for me unless I send for you. and that you are this person, that person. So you got off on that. And you thought that you had the authority and right to do what you did. And it backfired. I'm not done. Production, you're also to blame. Kenya came to you and said, "Dear Beyonce, you did nothing about it." It's like the boy that cries, "I'm being bullied in school." And then the following day he deletes himself and you say, "Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. Well, it wasn't this, it was." You never know how people are going to react. If somebody comes to you and they feel that they are distressed, that something is bothering them, pay attention to it. Because you harbored all of this and it got out of hand. It got out of hand and it could have gotten worse. You have to take control of the ladies. This is a work environment. You are part of the issue. That's why this got to where it was. All of the players, it was the perfect storm, and that was what happened. Brit is coming around talking about, "Well, I got this on my hip." Some people don't take kindly to that. Maybe it can be a trigger. You never know what has happened. It was a hard smoking mess. These are grown women that have children. They have daughters. It's very, 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 very disgraceful. Very disgraceful. And I keep on telling you, I'm out here in England and you think that, it only happens in Atlanta. You're seen around the world. You're seen around the world. And this is what we are talking about. Ammunition and obscene pictures. Why? Why? Are we not better than that? Are we not better than that? I am coming to support you. In my mind, I'm thinking hors d'oeuvres, finger food, drinks. I don't drink champagne, so it would be virgin cocktails for me. And then you present this obscene picture to me. You don't respect, it's an insult to me. I'm above that. I don't move in those kind of circles, so to speak. I don't want to see things like that. I did not have any warning, any go ahead before this happened. So Kenya, you offended everybody. That's why they all marched out. Because you know what? We're not siding with this. On top of it, you're not speaking to Cynthia. Why? Because Cynthia spoke the truth. Cynthia spoke the truth, Kenya. You don't want to talk to her, your loss. Because like I said, the yes people, they're the ones that are dangerous. Darlings, do not forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll see you what? I'll see you sooner than later. All of my love.